Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Corn Belt. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. So we check out the hazards map here first thing on Tuesday morning. We got a lot of green and red. We've got flash flood warnings, flash flood watches in effect across portions of the eastern Corn Belt down into the mid-Atlantic, an area that's going to be hit hard over the next several days, kind of unrelenting with heavy rain in that area as a cutoff low just parks itself across the midsection of the country. We can see that here when we look at the temperatures. We're a bit cooler across the midsection of the country, where cloud cover and precipitation is going to keep a damper on those temperatures from climbing too much during the day. And just animating the satellite picture, you can see it spinning away right here. The center of low pressure right now across portions of Illinois, just kind of meandering across the eastern Corn Belt over the next several days. A great example of what we call a vertically stacked system. As I saved this yesterday afternoon, and you're looking at the visible satellite picture, you can see the clouds kind of doing this counterclockwise dance. You can see the red L for the center of low pressure here, but then also you see the little wind barbs. You've got the white wind barbs, which are showing the surface wind flow going counterclockwise around this area of low pressure, but then also the red barbs are the flow at 500 millibars in the mid levels of our jet stream, and you can see them perfectly overlap. So as you head up, looking straight up through the column of the atmosphere, this thing is just stacked right on top of each other like a set of plates, which is a recipe for a low pressure center that's not going to move a lot. Typically when we see our progressive storm systems, those systems that move quickly from west to east, rather than being vertically stacked on top of each other, we've got an area of low pressure at the surface, but then we've also got that area of low pressure, that open wave behind it, where we've got strong jet stream winds coming in and kind of guiding that area of low pressure from west to east. So sometimes we get these areas of low pressure that are just kind of cut off from the stronger jet stream winds from maybe the northern stream or the southern stream, and it's just going to meander here till it kind of spins itself down and then eventually gets picked up by a wave off to the north and helps it kind of get guided out of here. So just something I wanted to save and share with you all today, because that's a really good example of a vertically stacked system, the one that's parked over us right now. Looking at the radar then, as we get started here on Tuesday morning, a lot of heavy precipitation again across portions of Ohio, down into eastern Kentucky and Tennessee, back toward the mid-Atlantic, and this is where it's going to be parked over the next several days as it just taps into Atlantic moisture, but then also over the next several days really tapping into the Gulf still. So several, or at least multiple sources of moisture here that it's just going to be brought northward and kind of wrung out across the terrain here. So you look at our high temperatures for the day and their departure from average, you see the big expansive area of blue shading. Again, a result of this area of low pressure just cut off across the midsection of the country. A lot of cloud cover, a lot of rain across the region, but then also tapping into cooler air off to the north. Really the only corridor that's going to be seeing any warmth over the next several days is going to be across the high plains in the Intermountain West. If we look at the last 72 hours of precipitation, again, this system has brought a large region a lot of precipitation over the last 3 days. So again, a corridor down from the southern plains into the Great Lakes and the central Corn Belt here, seeing 2 to 4 inches of precipitation as we take it back to the weekend. Not only heavy rain, but severe weather. I was out tracking the storms across central Illinois on Sunday afternoon and caught this tornado near Decatur. And you can kind of see it here. I'll highlight it right there. You see the cloud base extending off to the west. This was again just south of Decatur near the towns of Macon and Elwyn along US 51. Not only do you see the tornado there, but check out the fields already under a ton of water, as we had seen several rounds of heavy storms in this region. So across central Illinois, I was seeing a lot of corn beginning to emerge from the fields there, many of which were underwater by the time we got to Sunday afternoon and evening. So I feel for you folks out there. I know that it has been really an awkward last 2 weeks with some warmth and dryness, but then also a lot of rain in short periods of time here. So not an easygoing spring to this point by any stretch of the imagination. As we animate out the next 2.5 days of precipitation, again, you see the continuous heavy rain across this region, the mid-Atlantic into the eastern Corn Belt. But then we're also going to emerge a new thunderstorm threat across portions of the high plains as we get started here into the middle part of the week. So let's take the drawings off. Let's step through this a little bit slower, bringing it back to Tuesday. getting started now. Again, you see the cutoff low quiet across the higher plains right now, but as we get into Tuesday afternoon and evening, we'll see some storms flaring up across portions of the panhandles, getting into Colorado and Wyoming. More widespread as we head into the day tomorrow across that region. So here's Wednesday morning, getting into Wednesday afternoon, midday, mid-afternoon Wednesday, and then Wednesday evening. Still seeing the rain across the mid-Atlantic, the mid-South, and the eastern Corn Belt. Seeing those thunderstorms flaring up across Wyoming and then pushing into the western Dakotas, western Nebraska as we head into Wednesday evening and Wednesday overnight. Northeastern portions of Colorado can see some severe weather on Wednesday night as well. And then as we head into Thursday, this is going to stop at 1 p.m. on Thursday. We'll expand it with the European model, but I just want to show you that by the time we get to Thursday, still looking at the heavy rain threat across the east, the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio, eastern portions of Kentucky and Tennessee. This is a multi-day heavy rain event across that region where we're just getting started with the problems in that area, but you're starting to see the flare-up of thunderstorms across the midsection of the country as we get into midday Thursday as well. So total precipitation over the next several days, you'll see the two corridors, the heaviest of which right here where we're seeing in excess of 4 to 5. In some instances, we're going to get 7 to 8 inches of precipitation here, and that's probably going to be in the terrain enhanced regions of the mid-Atlantic, portions of the Carolinas, getting into the Virginias as well. As we look at portions of eastern Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, probably talking about 3 to 5 inches of rain in many areas. The good news is, we'll see flare up of showers across portions of Illinois, Indiana, and then eastern Kentucky and Tennessee, the areas that have been hit hard over the weekend, but much lighter precipitation as we head through the afternoon today, and then drying out as we get into Wednesday and Thursday across that region. Here is our emerging area of showers and storms as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We do have to talk about the risk of some severe weather across the northwest. We're finally ending the severe weather threat across the mid and eastern sections of the Corn Belt, but as we look at the risk here today, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday, the risk today going to be across western portions of Nebraska and Colorado as we talk about the Corn Belt specifically. Tomorrow, a pretty appreciable risk for some supercell thunderstorms, maybe some large hail, a couple of tornadoes, and some strong winds across the western Dakotas into western Nebraska. And then as we get into the day on Thursday, we'll be looking for that risk to shift off to the south across the panhandles and southwestern Kansas into southeastern Colorado. That, of course, because of this approaching wave, here's our cutoff low just parked across the midsection of the country, and because of this trough not going anywhere anytime soon, and the real estate that is taking up, this emerging trough across southern California is going to be deflected off to the north and to the west of the midsection of the country. So that is going to save this corridor from seeing another round of heavy rain early this week. But it's going to bring the chance for some severe weather to the high plains. So let's animate this, watch it be deflected there up and over the top of that. And then as you notice here, as we get into, we're now all the way into the weekend now, Saturday into Sunday, we've got another trough that's emerging now, and it's going to begin to spread across the northern plains into the Great Lakes as we get into the early part of next week. So I'm going to animate a map here looking at surface CAPE. We're looking at the instability or the fuel those thunderstorms have to work with. And again, it's being forced up and kind of along the Rockies here as we get started with that week. Again, our big cutoff low is parked in this region. A lot of cloud and rain cover, or cloudiness and rain across this region is going to keep things on the cooler side, stabilizing that environment. So not talking about severe weather across that region, just watching again the continuous feed of moisture and heat being transported northward through the early part of the week. This is Thursday now, so that's where we see that biggest risk across this region. But as I take it into Friday and Saturday, even though we don't have much jet stream support, we do kind of expand that air mass. Now the cutoff low is beginning to move off to the east finally, so the Gulf is being opened back up, allowing the transport of that warm and humid air mass back to the north. So even though we may not be talking about significant severe weather, by the time we get to the weekend, we will once again be talking about rain and thunderstorms across this region that was just hit so hard over the weekend. We can see that now. We'll take a look at the precipitation forecast here from the European model over the next several days, focusing on our two corridors over the next several days, the high plains and the east. You can see those areas spinning away as we get into Tuesday night. This will be Wednesday morning, Wednesday evening, getting into the Wednesday overnight. Here's our round of severe storms in this region. Let's take it into the day on Thursday afternoon and evening. Here's our round of severe storms across the Dakotas, across the panhandles into Kansas and Oklahoma, or Kansas and Colorado. That's the name of that state. We'll take it into Friday now. This is Friday afternoon and evening, getting it into Saturday. And here we go. We're starting to see those thunderstorms expanding off to the east, such that by the time we get to Sunday, we'll once again be talking about a thunderstorm threat across portions of Missouri, Illinois, pushing into Indiana, across the central Corn Belt. And this is what it looks like as we get into Monday and Tuesday, entering a period of very low confidence and low uncertainty, or high uncertainty, I should say. So through Thursday morning, precipitation heaviest across these two corridors. Drying out across the midsection of the country. We do have the chance for some light showers across this region as we head into Tuesday afternoon and evening, but finally getting a break across this corridor as we take it into, let's now expand this to through Friday. We start to see that thunderstorm threat beginning to expand. So let's go ahead and do this here. Thursday morning, across this corridor. As we take it through Friday, we begin to expand now, seeing thunderstorms across the midsection of the country. And then as we look at precipitation through next Tuesday, May 26th, again, not looking for, significant precipitation. I'm not talking about severe weather at this point, but definitely at least bringing the chance for some thunderstorms back into portions of Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois. Your high temperatures for the next several days, just to wrap it up, again, 50s and 60s widespread across the midsection of the country, those 80s, 90s, and 100s being kind of funneled up along the high plains. Here's your highs for Wednesday, Thursday, finally seeing the cooler air begin to shrink by Friday and Saturday, such that by the time we get to the weekend, back to warmer than average conditions across the entire Corn Belt, 70s and 80s for what looks like a beautiful weekend.